Thank you all for coming. I hope everybody's good and warmed up for the next 3 days. We've had some good hikes, some nice evening at High West last night, a great lunch today. The next 3 days are going to be full of just stimulating conversation, great information, help you plan for the future. We're going to focus on the next 3 to 5 years of innovation. We're going to be looking at the geopolitical impacts, the technological disruptions, and some real examples of companies that are changing the game and innovating in ways that are going to change our world. There's never been a better time to be a startup, and there's never been a better time to change the trajectory of a business. The next 5 years are going to be absolutely mind-blowing, and it's going to be very important that for established companies to think about how you're going to manage that change. James Barrett said that AI is humanity's final invention, and I think that's true because there's never going to be another invention that's not at least supported by AI. And in the future, AI might begin to develop some of its own discoveries, and some believe that future is not too far away. There's also a number of changes that are happening geopolitically. We're in just a wild time geopolitically. We're in an interconnected mess of a world which is decoupling. We're establishing an arms race between two major powers. Our technology is evolving at an exponential pace. It's very hard to keep up with how fast AI is developing and improving. Some people call this a new species of intelligence. And then societally things are shifting. You know, the fundamental relationship with reality is shifting. We see demographic changes around the globe that are all having an impact on this. Before he died, Henry Kissinger said that the AI arms race is far more complex than the nuclear one. And he said it's probably a lot more dangerous as well. So how do we think about positioning the society for this AI future? And if we were to say, look, who are the most powerful people in the world? Traditionally, you would say, well, these are going to be politicians. These are going to be the leaders of militaries, and they have control over the nuclear arsenal. The most powerful people are arguably the leaders that control and are developing the artificial intelligence platforms that are going to be fundamental to everything, to our whole world. Peter Thiel said that we've stagnated. You know, in 2013, he said, look, we've been in a period of 60 years of stagnation. We've had no new drugs that have extended lifespan since vaccines and antibiotics. We're traveling in the same kind of cars. Traffic's worse. Arguably, it takes us longer to get to where we're going. We're still in the same kind of airplanes. We haven't been to the moon in 50 years. But that's changing too because of AI. AI is accelerating everything. It's accelerating advancements in computing. We're seeing quantum computers rapidly improve. We've got new platforms, new banking platforms, digital assets. We've got manufacturing that we're going to talk about tomorrow, which is coming back in a big way, in a very different way that is fully automated. We've got humanoid robots that converge a bunch of different technologies, AI and other technologies to create automation of the physical world. Our computing infrastructure is challenged with high demands in electricity and chip supply. We're seeing new industries form. The space economy is emerging with the advent of reusable heavy lift rockets. And then we're on a path to an intelligence that we don't quite fully understand. AI is the dumbest it will ever be right now. And we're on an exponential path to what many believe is going to be a superintelligence. To get there, there's going to have to be a lot of risk-taking. You're going to have a lot of failures as you experiment and develop your solutions for the future. Innosight says that 50%, 40% of the Fortune 500 are not going to be here in the next 5 years. You're going to be a massive turnover. That's huge. That encapsulates the last 25 years of turnover of the Fortune 500. It took 25 years for that kind of turnover to take place. We're seeing a massive change in physical robots, but I'm going to show you how far we've come in the last 10 years. This is DARPA. This is a DARPA competition in 2013. This was the best we had in 2013. This is a competition to show off to the military the progress in physical robots. Wasn't very good. If we look at today, this is a Unitree robot that can be bought on the low-end models for $5,700 and on the high-end industrial commercial models for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. These are coming down in price, they're improving capability. Here's another example of a robot that integrates natural language, vision, and is able to do simple work in a manufacturing facility. This robot is sorting packages. And you just talk to it. Just say, go over here, sort the packages. It'll work. It'll use its language models, its vision models. We're advancing in these areas to world models, which combine all of these AI models, so it becomes much more natural. We're seeing a commercialized space race emerge. We see Blue Origin, who's here, SpaceX. We've seen a lot of progress in this area, but we see that's preceded by a bunch of failure. This is an attempt to land a booster on a barge. Many of these blew up before they finally landed one. And then in 2018, Elon Musk shot a Tesla into orbit and brought both boosters back on the ground. They lost one in the sea, but both boosters back and landed the boosters and reused these boosters to prove the concept. At the time, it was unbelievable, but this is every day now. This is the Starship. It's on their 10th test flight. This has a payload of 150 tons into low Earth orbit. It's designed to be able to go to Mars, 33 engines. It has 2.5 times the thrust and power of the Saturn V rocket, and it's designed to be fully reusable. Now, it's 2 stages. So this is the first stage that's coming back. And the first stage is about 30 stories tall and very heavy. It's too heavy for landing gear, like the Falcon rockets. So how do they do that? How do they catch this? Well, they catch it with chopsticks, which sounded crazy. Like, how can you catch a rocket with chopsticks coming back from space? And they haven't missed one yet. They were successful in the first one. They haven't successfully re-entered the Starship part of this, which is the upper stage, but I'm sure that's coming. Now, what do you do with this kind of capacity? Well, this launches whole new industries. When you can take 150 tons into space, you can build factories. This is a space-based power station that China's going to be testing next year. They're going to launch all the equipment into orbit. These will be kilometer-wide solar arrays, and then they'll beam the power via microwave back down to Earth for continuous solar power. They're testing it next year. They're going to test the loss of power. You're going to lose a lot of energy in the transmission process. But if that's successful, they're going to continue on. They're going to have their version of the heavy lift as well. This is a AI rendering of what Jeff Bezos has described as a orbital factory. So this is an AI prompt basically taking his description and showing how an orbital factory will be built in space with humanoid robots or general purpose robots using heavy lift rockets to get the equipment into space, and then it'll be assembled in orbit. As manufacturing comes back to the US, the factories are going to look a lot different. These are called dark factories because they don't need lights. They don't require humans. I'm going to show you an example of a dark factory that's coming online in China to produce electric cars.
This is a dark factory, an area of the plant so automated and with so little human presence that, in theory, the lights could be completely shut off. Factories like this one are part of China's hyper-automation to dominate the electric vehicle or EV market.
And for Peter Thiel, we finally have flying cars.
For the first time, China has approved autonomous flying taxis for commercial use. Two companies, Ehang Holdings and Hefei Hay Airlines, have become pioneers, receiving air operator certificates from the Civil Aviation Administration of China, according to state-run media publications. What does that mean? They can now run passenger drones for urban sightseeing, with no pilots on board. Meet the EH216S, Ehang's flagship flying taxi. Fully electric, pilotless, equipped with 16 propellers and a sleek carbon fiber frame. It cruises at 100 kilometers per hour and soars up to 10,000 feet.
So we are entering an AI arms race. We're also entering an innovation arms race. So you hear a lot of China in these examples. Eric Schmidt testified before Congress about a month and a half ago, about 6 weeks ago, and he was explaining to Congress how urgent the need is for electricity to power these data centers and power the manufacturing that's coming back to the US.
People are planning 10 gigawatt data centers. Just to do the translation, an average nuclear power plant in the United States is 1 gigawatt. How many nuclear power plants can we make in 1 year where we're planning this 10 gigawatt data center? Gives you a sense of how big this crisis is. One of the estimates that I think is most likely is that data centers will require an additional 29 gigawatts of power by 2027 and 67 more gigawatts by 2030. Gives you a sense of the scale that we're talking. These things are industrial at a scale I have never seen in my life. In the terms of energy planning, the current model is mostly natural gas, peaker plants plus renewables, and that's probably going to be the path we're going to have to follow, right, to get there, and for all the reasons that you can imagine. We have a bunch of regulatory issues around fixing the energy grid. It takes, on average, 18 years to get the power transmissions to put these things in place. We need to find federal ways to preempt that and make it happen faster.
So it's not just data centers, though. Data centers that he's talking about are about 90 gigawatts of the problem. If you look at the base case for electric demand, the forecast between 2022 and 2030, we need 50 more gigawatts than was planned for manufacturing, for electric cars. We're going to need up to 200 more gigawatts of power capacity. There's policies being changed. There's efforts underway to make that possible. But these are stark numbers in terms of the power demands. And then, you're seeing changes in the business models as well. We've been talking about, Salim Ismail, who's here, has been talking about the one-person company that will generate $1 billion in revenue. Well, here's what that might look like. You might have, this model here shows a CEO and 5 leaders. You might have a CFO who handles risk and legal, chief revenue officer, marketing, product development, design, infrastructure, and then AI agents that are deployed to do all the work. And not only do all the work, but do the research and suggest improvements to that work. So this is coming, and it's coming fast. So how do we think about this? If you're an existing enterprise, how do you do this differently? A culture of innovation is going to differentiate companies. So the vision, the leadership from the top, from the board to the C-suite to the managers, has to be thinking about innovation, has to be looking side to side, understanding where the disruption is coming from, develop that internal culture of innovation, and also bringing the outside innovation in. We're seeing many more startups becoming a critical part of accelerating innovation in established companies. So this is paramount for many of the companies that are pursuing rapid change over the next few years. We've got the next 2 days dedicated to these discussions. Today, we're going to talk about the geopolitical landscape. We're going to have a discussion with all this power and all this energy that we're going to have to produce from any means necessary. We're going to talk about the climate debate. We've got a discussion on AI in marketing. We've got a discussion around nuclear power. We've got a nuclear startup here that's backed by Sam Altman, who is looking at helping power data centers. Adapting at scale, we've got Paramount here. And then we're going to discuss our signals and strategy report that we produced and just released this last year. So, our first speaker, Gina Raimondo. Gina served as the 40th Secretary of Commerce from 2021 to 2025. Secretary Raimondo has been instrumental in deploying billions of dollars in incentives for leading-edge chip manufacturing and research under the CHIPS program. She's played a leading role in ensuring the responsible development of artificial intelligence, and she established the U.S. AI Safety Institute. She's been recognized for her contributions to the advancements of AI. Secretary Raimondo was named one of Time Magazine's most influential people in AI. So let's watch a quick video and then welcome to the stage Gina Raimondo.